Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of Getting to Know You series. Today I have Andy from Team Sheikh Jarrah, so let's bring him on.
So welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So let's get into the playoff game. So first, let's talk about your game. How was the atmosphere?
The atmosphere was special. Having all the fans, the family, the players come out to support us. It really livened up the atmosphere for the game. Hearing the crowd, good and bad, it seemed like we had the crowd against us for the most part, which really fueled us a little bit too. But yeah, it was pretty special seeing that many people come out to watch the basketball game.
What do you think about everybody rooting for you guys to win?
So I think I mentioned this a while back with Yassine. Like, I don't really hear stuff off the court, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I could generally feel, I think, especially with the way I talk trash in the chat, calling their team like the villains of the league. I felt like we did have the crowd on our side for the most part. But when we went back and watched the video, and the camera, you hear the people that were on the stage side where the camera was set up. You can actually see a lot of people like rooting for you guys and stuff also, which made me feel better because again, at the end of the day, like I don't want any team to feel like it's just one-sided from the fans.
Yeah, and I think everybody just wanted to see a good game too. So I think there was kind of a turning point in the game where the crowds wanted to see us start to come back to make it a better game. But to your point too, while you're out there playing, I don't really hear the crowd either. So it doesn't really affect me. So yeah, didn't bother me at all.
Well, we'll get into some of the we'll get into it a little bit later. But I was gonna specifically talk about when you were at the free throw line and people were yelling some stuff. But we'll talk about it when we get to that segment.
Yeah. So going into this game, what was your mindset?
I mean, our mindset the entire season is we're going in there and we're going to win the game. We knew it was going to be a battle. I think the last time we played your team was, I don't want to call it a fluke. We were just clicking on all cylinders. We kind of threw you off your game plan, and we knew that you guys had something to prove, kind of a revenge game for you guys. So we knew that you guys were going to come out full intensity, have a good game plan put together. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, but at the end of the day, our mindset was that we were going to come out with the victory.
So how do you think your team played?
I don't think we played our best game. I think Farhad and his team had a very good game plan. I think we played right into their game plan, putting us out more on the perimeter, playing the zone, and we played right into what they wanted us to do and accomplish it in the first half. We didn't make any adjustments in the second half. I think we talked about it. We kind of figured it out a little bit. Came out a little bit stronger in the second half. Took a lead. It was such a back and forth game, and I think our team made some clutch shots. Their team made some clutch shots, and it was very back and forth. And again, at the end of the day, our team just knows how to play together. We have confidence in each other, and nobody ever gave up. Nobody ever quit on each other. We were still encouraging throughout the entire time, and again, I think that's what drove us to the victory.
Do you think part of that is because their team was playing so well together as a team?
I think so. I think, again, coming in with a game plan, I think is extremely important, and I know how hard Farhad works and studies, and that's what makes him such a great captain, a great leader for his team. And then to implement it and the players on the team buy into what you're trying to accomplish in that game plan, I think that's what separated Bball from a lot of other teams as well. I don't think the regular season record indicated how good of a team that they actually are. But yeah, their game plan was solid, and it set us back to start the game for sure.
So we have to talk about the clutch free throws at the end.
Yeah, I was very fortunate.
There were actually 4 clutch free throws.
Right, one to send you guys to overtime and then one to win the game.
Yeah. So I admittedly played very poorly most of the game, and again, the team had enough confidence in me encouraging me as I was going to the line to continue to take my shots, take my chances, and again, knowing that they had my back, I wanted to make sure that I was able to do my part and contribute to the success of the team, which I didn't feel like I had done to that point in the game. Felt like maybe I actually hurt us a little bit more than I helped us. But yeah, just them having my back and being encouraging, I think was what drove me to being able to hit those shots.
Yeah, I mean so the ones right before the end of regulation, I got called on the foul. It was right under the basket, and I don't know if you heard while you were at the free throw line, because it was like 30 seconds to go about, and somebody on the other side of the floor with the megaphone or somebody, I heard him because I don't think I was in the box rebounding on your free throws, but somebody kept saying he can't hit both, right? He can't hit both. He can't hit two. And I'm like, oh man, I hope this gets to him. But then I'm just like, you didn't even like look over, nothing. Like you were just like.
So at that point, I was dialed in. The first time I was at the free throw line, I'm pretty sure it was Ion who yelled, "He can't hit two in a row," and he proved it right the first time. I made the first one, I missed the second one, and I wasn't about to let that happen again. So. Ion, thank you for motivating me for those free throws as well.
He did it again in OT also when you were at the line. I heard the same thing again, and I'm like, stop, man, you guys, stop.
So you guys want to talk about the second game?
No, I want to kind of keep talking about it. Like I was gonna ask, right? So, we were talking a little bit about like the rebounding. I think we had 3 guys in double digits in rebounding. You guys had nobody in double digits, right? Mm-hmm. Was it frustrating with the way we played for you guys not to be able to do what you guys normally like to do? And also in the second half, I think the biggest difference really was you guys were willing to take those shots that we were giving you guys, where in the first half you guys were trying to figure out, like, okay, how do we get the ball inside?
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't have a lot of movement in the first half. A lot of us were just kind of hanging out on the perimeter, myself included. And again, we played right into your game plan, right? Keeping us away from the hoop, not being able to get those rebounds. I think that was the strength of our team the entire year, being able to use our size, our strength down low, whether taking it to the hoop or getting the rebounds on any misses and putting it back. And I think for the first time all season, we were out-rebounded. Like you said, we didn't have a single guy in double digits in rebounds, and we didn't use our size to our advantage. All season, we led the league in assists. You guys out-assisted us as well. So those were, I think, 2 key stats as to why you guys were so successful in the game and why you built a big lead to start the game, was because you took us right out of the strengths that we had all season long.
I also wanted to know what are your thoughts of seeing AR on the court and the way he plays, because I don't think a lot of people realize the intensity and the grit and like the willpower to like force a team to win.
Yeah,
like he has that.
AR, he's a gamer. He's very physical. It was very challenging to get position on him down low, and yeah, I mean he brings a different level of intensity and physicality to your team, and he was definitely a difference maker for you guys.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but he was also going back and forth with the fans a lot during the game, and he does that a lot. There was one play in particular, and I'll talk about it now because, like, obviously our season's over. So there was a play where I think he drew an offensive foul, and he looked back at like everyone's sitting on the chairs by the stage, and he was like, "It's not about this. It's about this." Like that. Like his personality is like. He's such a great teammate, man. And I think, honestly, like, more than the game plan and stuff, it was, like, guys like him and everyone else on my team that really just came with that energy and, like, just would not let us not play hard.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big reason why we had some success.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why we had success in the second half and to finish out the game was because we played back into our strengths. We were unselfish. We used our size to our advantage. Everybody plays a different role on our team. Everybody knows their role. Everybody's comfortable with their role. And again, it's a very unselfish team. We're very encouraging. So nobody gave up on each other. Everybody still took their shots. We had confidence that they would make it. El and Abdul Wadud wound up carrying us offensively. But there were a couple clutch moments where other people came through. There was a moment where Sultan wound up getting a rebound and putting it back. It was like one of those back and forth moments in the game. Saad's hustle. I was looking at there was just a simple, I think it was an inbound or a simple pass, and you can just see the frustration on I don't know if it was AR or Saad who had the ball. You're just getting frustrated with Saad being there, right, with his hustle and his intensity. And then again, David come up with a couple clutch blocks to end the game, and I think one was on you then too, right?
There was one on me on a 3-point shot earlier, I think, where I'm like, there's no way he's gonna block this. When I watched the video of the game, the ball was passed, when AR let that pass go, David's under the basket, and by the time I caught it, and I didn't even dribble, I caught it, took just hop step back to get into my shot, and he still got a piece of it. Yeah. Like his closeout speed is crazy, and that's what happened on like the second to last play of the regulation. Also, when Drew had the ball down low, like he was at the free throw line. I don't know how he got to Drew so quickly to stop that layup. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's just it. We find ways to contribute even when we're not having our best games. So for David and I, our offensive performance was not our best, but again with David's hustle, the blocks, the steals, just.
It's everything else.
Yeah, that's what made us successful all season, is that we always found ways to contribute in one way or the other.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people looked at stats, especially on your team, and they didn't realize that it's not the stats. It's the other stuff that doesn't get recorded. That's the difference in why you guys are such a strong team.
Yeah.
So props to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
I guess we can talk about the next one.
Yeah, again, I think it was a very competitive game. The first half, it was very back and forth. Ion was shooting lights out. I think he started the game 5 for 5 from 3, and yeah, it was back and forth. It was a very 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 fun match to watch. I think in the second half they got into a little bit of foul trouble. I think that hurt them. There were a couple easy layups and putbacks that were missed. And again, I can't point a finger or fault because I did the same thing in our game. So I think a couple of those missed opportunities there. And then I think towards the end of the game, I think because Ion was having such a successful game in first half, I think he finished with 28 points. I think he pressed a little too hard to end the game, where I think there were opportunities to find some of his teammates for some open shots. But again, I think the lack of number of players they had there, missing the twins and Salman, I think really hurt them. And then with Rocky fouling out and playing with 4 at the end of the game, I think kind of put an end to the comeback resurgence. But again, I think it was a very, very entertaining, very fun game to watch. But again, I think the numbers, not having their full roster really hurt them in the end.
Yeah, I think for me watching that game, I still was like trying to get over our game, right? So my head really wasn't into that game as much, but I kept kind of thinking back about stuff that what happened in our game. But the one thing that I definitely noticed right away was the fact that like Aeon was like so focused. He's like, I'm going to carry this team and we're going to win, right? And you saw him do that all first half, most of the second half. And I think the frustrating thing for me was watching Nazareth not play the way that they should be playing. Right, they're a very strong team. They're a number 2 seed for a reason, and it felt like they knowing that the Twins and Salman weren't there, they did kind of like what we used to do, right? My team would always have this issue where we played down to our competition, and it really felt like they had no energy. They were just like, okay, tip off. We can't wait for this game to end so we can play in the finals, right? But yeah, I mean, like that's tough. Like Anwar came out, he played. I don't know if it was a great idea for him to play, but it was just frustrating watching them not play their style that really got them to this point.
Yeah, but I also think it's a credit to the youth too, right? So they have a lot of energy, kind of takes you out of your game. So I think similar to our game, right? You guys had a game plan, and you played to your strengths. I think for the youth, they played to their strength, which was speed the game up a little bit, take advantage of some fast breaks. I think Nazareth hung tough throughout the game. I think again, Wakas had a pretty good game, double. Anwar again, he had an okay game, but you could tell he was struggling a little bit. You could tell the ankle was bothering him a little bit, and Matt had a good rebounding game, but again, a quiet offensive performance, and I think that maybe hurt the team a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see them not really. So like my honest take on Matt is that even though he's a big man, he's really a great facilitator, right? He's a guy that you can get the ball at the free throw line, on top of the key sometimes, and he can set up your scorers. Yeah. And it didn't seem like they really tried to do that much this game, but let's see, maybe they'll kind of watch the video and realize that, and maybe game plan for you guys a little bit differently.
Done talking about this game?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Wow, you said it like we're talking forever.
So I heard that L talked a lot of trash talk in the chats.
So he does. I know I'm very quiet in the chat. I don't participate a lot. I do read them. I do look forward to the podcasts, which is why I'm kind of scouring through them so I can make sure I don't miss the podcast. But yeah, no, L talks trash, and I think in a positive way. He likes to rile people up. I think he knows that he has a team who can back up his talk. So he speaks a little bit more freely now, which I can appreciate. But again, I think he has relationships throughout the league that he knows he can do that. Where it's nothing personal. It's to rile them up. But at the end of the day, L he's a great guy. He's a great teammate, great person, and he's the type of guy that will give you a shirt off his back.
Yeah, forget about the shirt. I wanted the hair off his head after that game, but you guys won. So. Can I also say one thing about L, by the way? He's one of my favorite guys also in the league, right? And I'm so happy that he is actually so much more active this year. I know he's always kind of talk trash, but not to the volume that he is this season, which again goes to everything we talk about with this season being so special. He's one of those guys that like I want to punch him, but like I want to hug him at the same time, right? Like I just want to dunk on him. Like I just want to dunk on him and just shut him up, right? But he's such a great guy. Like everything that he does on and off the court, like such a great guy. And I've told him before, but like just love him as a player and a person.
Yeah, and I don't think people underappreciate him, but I think he's underappreciated for everything that he brings. And just talking about basketball, not specifically outside of the court, but I mean, being again the true point guard, being an Iron Man, I think he's played every minute of every game this entire season. His hustle, his energy, I mean, just it speaks to the type of person he is. I mean, he's a dog, and if you didn't hear it during the game, he was actually barking too. So I mean, he's like,
I heard that.
I heard. Was that during the game or before the game?
No,
that was like the first
game.
possession. He was,
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't even notice honestly, but I heard somebody else mention it, and I'm like I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, like we're yeah, it was like right in the beginning, and I'm like, what is?
Yeah, it was talked about beforehand. I'm glad he brought that to fruition. He was actually barking at your team. We love you.
So can we get into personal questions?
Of course.
So what is your specific role at Bball?
So I am the manager of energy procurement, and not that many people know what that means. I go out and I basically try to find the lowest cost electricity for our customers.
Nice. So how many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids. I have a son who is 6. He was at the first round of playoffs. And then I have a daughter who is 3, Noelle, who she was there at the game Friday night. Who almost got us teed up for being a 6th man on the court.
So when did you start playing basketball?
I started playing basketball probably around 8 or 9, I would say. I started to get into sports when I was really young. I started first with football when I was 6. And then I loved the competitiveness, and then started getting involved in some other sports, and have been competitive my entire life since.
Rapid fire.
You want to do rapid fire?
Okay. So, favorite NBA team?
So I'm not really much of an NBA guy. I'm more of a college basketball. I'm a Carolina Tar Heels fan, but if I had to pick an NBA team, I would probably say maybe the Sacramento Kings randomly. Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite NBA player?
I think if I were to stick to the Kings, probably Domantas Sabonis. He's a stat machine, stat monster. I'd say one other guy that I do really like, I think he's entertaining in all phases of the game, would be Luka Doncic. I mean, he's a double-double, triple-double machine. And what he put up, 80 points, 70-some points a couple weeks back?
Yeah.
It's like 71, 73?
73, I think.
Yeah, that's insane.
Favorite teammate?
Wow, all of them. I mean, they're all great in so many different ways. It's hard to really choose one. Maybe Monum just because he's the one who put the team together, but I can honestly say I love all my teammates.
Strawberries or bananas?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Combined, though, it's fantastic. But, man, strawberries, I guess. I like the sweetness of the strawberry.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, man, another tough one. Probably waffles. They're less flaky.
Best player in the league?
I mean, I'd say from a pure talent perspective, I think Abdul Wadood he's a special player. He plays a quieter role than I think he should at times. He steps up when he needs to. I think he did that, and it showed in Friday night's game. I don't want to take credit away from. There's a lot of great players in the league, but I think overall, like pure basketball talent, I think it's Abdul Wadood.
Summer or winter?
I'm more of a summer guy. I don't like when it's too hot, which is why I can never move south. And I know you can always layer up in winter, but I don't really like the cold that much. I'd rather be a little bit warmer.
Favorite player in the league?
Favorite player in the league?
Yeah.
I mean, not because he's sitting right next to me, but your dad. Honestly, like, we've worked together for a long time. He's the one who introduced me to the league, brought me into the league last year. I just think we have a special bond on and off the court. So again, I love that I've gotten to know more people throughout the league this year than I did last year. It's been a really fun season, but I'd say your dad would probably be my favorite player in the league right now.
Thank you.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan, 100%. Nobody will ever change my mind.
Yep.
Who's a better defender, Al or Sultan?
Oh man, they're both really good defenders.
They couldn't defend us. I'm just kidding out.
Wow. I can't even choose. I think they're both excellent defenders. They just both bring such an energy to the court. I can't answer that question.
NBA or NFL?
I've always been a football guy, just because I played so long. Like I said, I started playing when I was 6. I played all the way through college, and then played competitively for a long time until I had an injury. But yeah, I'm more of a football guy, playing basketball.
So, what's your favorite football team?
I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite flavor of Ishworks chocolate?
Definitely s'mores. It was the first one I had. Maybe it was because it was the first one too, but no, it's definitely hands down your best.
And most importantly, Hershey's or Ishworks?
Ishworks all the way. Can't go wrong with Ishworks. If you haven't tried it, everybody please try Ishworks chocolate. It's delicious.
Sorry. Here.
So,
What do you got there?
ooh, I did get the s'mores.
Got the
I haven't had a
s'mores.
chance to try the white chocolate, although if it's anything like the cookies and cream, it's going to be just as delicious.
So is there anything else that you want to ask us?
So there's been a lot of talk about the draft, and whether or not we go back to it. I personally, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, I didn't know how I felt about it initially, as I think most people did, right? Everybody was kind of set in who they wanted to play with. But I think ultimately the draft accomplished what it meant to do for the league, which was to break people up, introduce people to new people to the league. Especially, for me, it was fantastic. It would have been very easy and comfortable to play with your dad and with Drew and Devo again. But the fact that I got to play with different people, got to know more people, I think really worked out in a favor, and I think it also balanced the league very well. So I think what Anwar talked about it in the last podcast, and we've talked about it a little bit at work about what's the best way to go about the draft for next year. Do you just kind of blow it all up and start fresh? Do you do some kind of keeper? I like the thought of having one or two keepers, having a total MBR, taking the captain's MBR into perspective, as well as like a total between the three, and you can't exceed that, and then maybe start the draft order from whoever has the lowest combined kept MBR.
Yeah.
Do that.
That's actually a good point, because I don't think we've talked about that at all. I think we talked about like how we can have like, okay, so like if I draft 2 players, my MBR plus those 2's MBRs need to be within a threshold, but I don't think we've ever discussed like, okay, so like how do we do the draft picks? Because then it shouldn't really be up to the captain's MBR, which is what it was this year, because like if I'm a guy that's like I'm picking 2 of my lower ranked guys, but like I think we need to talk about that and figure out like how that's going to work, but I do like that.
Yeah, I think you need to take all, so it's the captain and whoever, so you need to take all that into consideration. I think the only thing that would throw a wrench in that thought would be if you were to expand to 8 teams.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Because what happens to those 2 new teams?
Yeah.
And who do they get to pick from?
Yeah.
So I think if you were to expand it to 8 teams, I think you'd almost have to go to a brand new draft. You couldn't keep anybody. But that all depends on what happens. I'd love to see the league expand. I think it's been a wonderful experience for myself, for everybody in the league. So if we can expand it to more people, I think it would be great. But if we do stick with 6, I think that something along that keeper draft strategy might be something to consider.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, like every team like loves the guys that they're playing with, and they don't want to break the teams up. But let's see what they decide.
Yeah, but again, I think this season also accomplished what we talked about earlier, is just like getting to know more people. And I think if you were to break the teams up again, that would create even more of a camaraderie throughout the entire league, right? So I think that's the end goal, is to create that camaraderie. But we'll see. I mean, it's up to the commissioners how they want to handle that. So we'll see what you guys or what they come up with.
Yep. So I actually wanted to talk about Friday, the day of our game, early in the day.
I know where this is going.
So I always try to get inside somebody's head, right? Like I even wanted to talk trash to David Barber, and I had his number, but I just purposely didn't message him. but like he had posted something on on his Instagram about the game, the flyer, and I was just like, hey Dave, what's up, you know? But he's a big guy. I was like, he's gonna punch me in the face. But so that day, I'm like trying to find guys on your team that I can like say stuff to, and then I'm just like, all right, I have to say something to Andy just because of our relationship, like, you know, knowing each other so well. Like I have to say something to him. So I was driving over to Walmart to pick up something for you. You needed the tape for your chocolates, for the wrappers. And I'm like driving, and I'm like, I have to message him. But I'm like, let me stop and park, and then I'll message him. And I got to the parking lot, turned my car off, started sending him a message on text. I send it, and then I see a notification, like literally, I think it was like either right as I hit send or like 15 seconds after I hit send. And it was a message on our work Teams chat. And I'm like, and I scroll down and I look at it, and he had sent me a message the same exact time. We were just talking trash to each other. It was great, man. I just, you know, like I have so much respect for you, and I think, you know, we do have a special relationship with the way we've gotten to know each other. And to me, that was just like, I didn't even care about the game at that point. I'm like, wow, like same exact time we're messaging each other, and I was telling everybody.
Yeah, it's again, we do. I think we have a special relationship on and off the court, from a work perspective, and then from you bringing me into the league. So yeah, it was funny that the timing of that was perfect. And I said, you know, as a competitor, of course, I wanted to win, but having been a part of your team last year, it was a tough win for many reasons. One, it was just, again, a very physical, hard-fought game, but for us to beat you guys was tough, because, you know, you never want anybody to lose in that situation. But I'm just glad it was a hard-fought, physical game that came down to the wire. You know.
Yeah, my team is probably not going to be happy with me saying this, but I think this is the second week in a row in the playoffs where I can honestly say, even against load, because I've gotten so close to some of those guys like Yassine, James, I don't think I would have minded losing because of who we lost to. You know what I mean? I think we still cheer for each other so much that I was telling Abdul Wadud, I talked to him after our game, and I was telling him, like, I honestly don't know who I'm rooting for this game in the finals, because, like, obviously you, Monam, a bunch of L, like all the guys on your team, and then Waqas, Anwar, like everyone, Yusuf, all those guys on the team, like I'm so close, like I consider all you guys like brothers, right? And it's very hard for me to like sit here and say who do I want winning, because honestly, I don't want either of your teams to win. Right, but it's going to be just like the Super Bowl, where I'm like, okay, once I start watching, I think I'll kind of see who I'm rooting for, but it's so hard. Like I think it's either way. I think it's a win for the league that, you know, everyone's kind of like so close to each other and supportive of each other even after they're eliminated. I know me and Ayan talked about we're gonna mic up and just we'll record, and we're gonna just be talking trash to both teams all week during the day. We're gonna have some crazy signs out there. Like, you guys are not gonna be able to concentrate. That's our goal.
So the good thing is, again, I phase all that out during the game, so that won't bother me. Bring in whatever sign you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a very hard fought, physical game. You guys played with great intensity. Couldn't have asked for a better game. I think it was probably the game of the year. And then, you know, to play, gave the fans a little bit of extra free basketball, right? Got some overtime in the overtime. So it was a great game, very physical game. I mentioned to you earlier, I'm still sore. You guys did a great job. There was a moment in the game we talked about earlier too. Was Nadim boxed me out, knocked me right to the ground, and I got up and I looked and I was like, wow, man, that was awesome. I don't mind playing physical, and Nadim never apologized for playing physical, playing competitive. It was a great box out on your part. But yeah, as long as you're playing physical and intensity without malicious intent, I'm all for it. Bring your competitive nature, bring your competitive game every single time. That's what makes the game great and makes it exciting.
Yeah, he came up to me after the game and he's just like, Did you see that one play? I laid Andy out on his back.
He did. He laid me out. It was a great box out.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, so I have a question for you. What has been your favorite part of the season, whether it be a moment or an aspect of the game?
Like, you mean my favorite part of the season, or like
Yeah.
the game?
Yeah.
Definitely the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like before we started doing the podcast, I kind of, I said hi to everyone, but I didn't really know them. But having people on the podcast, like, I get to know and talk to every single person and get to know them a whole lot more than I would have ever. I wouldn't have, I would never have went up to them and just started a conversation without these podcasts, which helped me talk to everybody.
Yeah. And what I love about the podcast too is that you get to know a lot of the guys throughout the league, but you get to know them in a different aspect through these. So, I'm thankful that you guys started doing this. I think it's been wonderful to get to know all the other players in the league, and I hope you guys continue to do this. I hope we get to meet everybody in the league by the end of it, because again, I think it's special. The league is special. There's a different energy about it, and I'm thankful to be a part of it. So, is there anything that you would change?
Us winning last week.
Can't think of anything that, like, about the entire league or about the podcast.
Anything.
Anything.
Okay.
Maybe next season we can look into a bigger court. I'd like to see how all the teams would be different with the bigger court, but I think that's it. Cause
I think the other thing I would change with our league, and again, this maybe will happen if we go to a different court, is a better scoreboard where it's like up on a wall that you don't have to keep bothering the scorekeepers, stat keepers. Just having that up there, I think would make it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know what, one more thing. And Yassine, if you're listening, Anwar, if you're listening, this is really more for the playoffs. Let's try to have at least 3 refs each playoff game. I think, I mean, obviously we didn't talk about the reffing this game because there's no reason to talk about that. But I think it's important enough for these important games, like at the end of the season, to just have an extra ref. Like we know one of the guys is like a trainee ref, right? And I feel like it kind of, not that it does us injustice, but I would rather have guys that know what they're doing as opposed to learning on the job during our playoff games, like our important games, right? So, if they're going to have a trainee, just have a third guy there that like knows what they're doing.
Agreed. And, I mean, we could talk about the reffing in the games all we want. I think basically what we concluded is it was just consistently inconsistent, right? And we want it to be consistently consistent, is what we'd strive for. So yeah, if we can get a third ref in there to help out, get an extra set of eyes on there, help overturn some calls or make some calls, that could better suit the playoffs.
What do you think of guys that were on the sideline with the megaphone and stuff? Because I had kind of like mixed opinions from guys. Some guys were like, no, that shouldn't be allowed, and other guys were like, no, that's fine as long as they're not being rude or disrespectful, which I agree with. But wanted to know how you thought.
So I mean I don't mind fans doing what they want to get in people's heads. If they want to bring a megaphone, I mean I have no problem with that. As a player, for me, it's easy to block that out. But what I will say is there are chairs along the outside, on the other side of the court, where I think the fans belong. I think the benches are for the players.
Yep.
So I would encourage the non-players and participants to be amongst the crowd and not on the benches.
That's also one of the reasons why we moved all this stuff to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the people watching, distracting, and I think I would agree that all the people watching should just stay on the other side where we have all the chairs set up.
If you're not on the team, just be on the other side because again, like they had to, try to look around people sometimes because they were up there standing up, cheering and stuff, and it was difficult for them to follow the game. But it's me personally. I agree. I think they should be. You can still support your friends, but just be on the side where the rest of the fans are.
Yeah.
Right, or by the stage, wherever, just not on the bench.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's much tighter on that side. So even from a safety perspective, and then also as a player, if you're looking to pass towards that sideline, and you see 6 guys over there, and 5 of them aren't on the court. Sometimes it can get a little confusing. So I would encourage all fans to be seated together on the opposite side of the court and leave the benches for the players.
Yep. I'll enforce that. Me and Ayan, we're gonna enforce that. Me, Ayan, and Yasin, we're going to be walking around the entire gym with weird signs and yelling at people. All right.
Else?
No, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I know I think we want to have you on earlier, but I think this kind of worked out because this was like the perfect time. You beat my team. You had the, game time free throws, game winning free throws, and I think it just kind of worked out well, and just happy to have you in the league, honestly. Actually, funny story, so I messaged, Yasin actually sends me really good messages about like my impact on him and other players and stuff, and he sent me one of these messages after we lost and our season was over, and I told him how great of a team you guys are, and now that I think back to it, maybe I shouldn't have pushed for you to be in the league. Because you hit those free throws.
Was it Yasin the one who pushed for me not to be in the league 2 seasons ago?
Well, he so we wanted you on 2 years ago, and they denied it, but I know he regrets it now because he's, and I get it from his standpoint, he didn't know who you were.
Yeah, no, I get
right?
it.
So it's for me to just bring a random person in, I get it, but I think he understands now, how important of a member of this league you are. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Again, thank you for inviting me. This has been a great season. Both seasons I've had a lot of fun. This season was special in the sense I got to know a lot more of the team, a lot more of the causes that you guys are fighting for too. It's been great. I love to see the league camaraderie, not even just amongst the teams, but amongst the entire league. So it's been fun to be a part of, and thank you again for having me to be part of it.
Yeah, of course.
So. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to next Friday's game.
Sounds good. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Peace out.
Thank you so much to Andy for coming and doing this podcast with us. Look out for the next episode coming soon, and good luck to you guys in the finals. Isherworks signing off.